Hello, everyone, and welcome to SystemSoft Technologies live webinar, where today our panel of experts will be taking a deep dive into SecureScore, Microsoft 365, and Cloud Advisor. This is our final session of our three-part series. If you happen to miss any of the earlier programs, you can catch them on demand by going to SystemSoft Technology websites. During this live session, we'll be happy to answer any questions after the demo. My name is Mark Imhoff, and I am the head of security at SystemSoft Technologies and will be your moderator during this discussion. Uh, Quickly about SystemSoft, we're an IT consulting company that has different practices within our organization. We both do staff aug as well as consulting services. I am ahead of both the security, integration as a platform, and the data and analytics practice. We also support both digital with UX and UI, intelligent automation, ADM, application development and maintenance, as well as business development where things like low code, no code, Dynamics, Microsoft 365, and others. All right, before we dive in, I'd like to introduce our panel of experts and ask them to say a few words about their background. First, we have Craig Wilson from SystemSoft. Welcome, Craig.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the intro. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm a security architect, a senior security architect over here at SS Tech. This is the third part of this three-part series. It's been fun the entire time. So I've been performing pen tests and security assessments for like 10 to 15 years now. Specifically, and more specifically, Microsoft Azure and Defender. I've been doing those security assessments for many organizations and businesses from small to large, 100 seats to 800,000 seats for a little over 5 years now. And the key tool one of the key tools that I use is SecureScore. So I'm thrilled to be here and thrilled to kind of give a little demo and show what it's all about.
Excellent. Thanks, Craig. Next, we have John Nakaiza, also from SystemSoft Technologies. John, we're glad to have you with us today.
Hey, Mark. Hey, thanks for having me. A little bit of background. I'm with SystemSoft Technologies as a senior security architect. I've been in security and infrastructure and securing infrastructure for over 20 years now, primarily in the financial industry, and moved over into doing pen testing, security, NIST security controls on the federal level and state level for quite some time now. And again, thanks for having me here and look forward to our discussion.
Great, thanks, John. Also joining on the panel today, we're very excited to have one of our partners from BlueVoyant, Vijay Bharat.
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure to join the SystemSoft team on this call today. I'm Vijay from BlueVoyant's security architect team, working on delivering professional services for deployment, configurations, best practices. And I'm doing this kind of work for almost 12 plus years now. Also working on all Microsoft Defender security workloads. And I'm grateful today to be part of this webinar, and we'll be discussing Microsoft SecureScore and why it's important to use. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. With that said, before we transition to the demo, we're going to have a few slides to talk about our relationship with BlueVoyant, kind of expand a little bit more on that, and as well, Vijay is going to take us through a couple slides just about the offerings that we partner with BlueVoyant with. With that said, as I said, I run the practice here at SystemSoft Technology, our security practice, and we've reached out to various partners, and we've just recently joined partnership with BlueVoyant January of 2022. And one of the big reasons we joined them is because of their capability and their history with using the Azure stack, security stack, SecureScore, Intune, Sentinel, all the products within the Azure stack. And what I really like to, and we'll get a little bit more in depth of what they offer in that area. What we do a lot of times is like John talked about and Craig, we do a lot of things around assessments. We do a lot of things around compliance, controls, hardening, things like that. We also have our own SIM tool as well. We're not really going to get into that today, but then we're also, you know, we want to also be, we have the capability of doing managed MSSP, managed security service. And with that said, we picked BlueVoyant because of their history of doing this and how fast they have gained recognition within Microsoft. With that said, I want to hand it over to VJ to kind of go over his BlueVoyant and how they do things at their organization. VJ.
All right. Thank you, Mark. I'm really excited to sit in this session for the Secure Score for Microsoft 365 with this group of fine people from SystemSoft Technology Architects. Always appreciate the opportunity to share what's BlueVoyant's up to, but also really the partnership opportunities that we have with this group have been really, really awesome. They sell Microsoft licenses. They also have strongly invested into Microsoft security space. BlueVoyant is a managed security services provider that comes in after the deployment of these initial Microsoft security solutions to put your monitoring services and 24/7 SOC in your hands. Thank you. With that being said, on the slide, all right, so BlueVoyant is a cybersecurity company that sits in the nexus between the Fortune 100 finance and global government intelligence, and a lot of our founders are from former NSA, former FBI, former British intelligence, and also Israeli intelligence, which means a lot of our directors and lieutenants are well informed by the best breed tools and the best practices as a global government intelligence agencies to put these security solutions in the world. Though we are a bit of a younger company, we've been able to accelerate and dominate some of the security space. Just recently, the last year, we won the Microsoft's Top Global MDR Partner of the Year award. Means Microsoft is recognizing us as one of the best performing and most capable MDR services provider for Microsoft Defender for endpoints and Microsoft Sentinel. With that, on this slide, in addition to the managed services, we also offer some of the other services that includes a dark web deep investigations, tracking. We also have professional services that handles incident response, supply chain risk, and also monitoring and remediation services. So the Microsoft security workloads are built on the principles of giving you the visibility first that leads to the investigations and ultimately help you manage and monitor by taking improvement actions. And let's take a look into this with a quick use case through this. So with this use case, we could see that the students are giving away their credentials to other people to take their exams on their behalf. And the security administrator is almost spending like 1 to 2 hours per day just to disconnect these users. Those are the logging in from different locations like Canada and Far East Asia. Also, we do have the visibility through the different security products in here, like MCAS, Azure AD Identity Protection, and also Azure Sentinel. So MCAS has policies like impossible travel, and also it's learning the behavior for the authentication pattern to take actions on anomalous login. Now, if based on these identity alerts and MCAS alerts, if the students are challenged with MFA to shut down their access, this could become an automated process to disable the accounts. So Microsoft Secure Scores and their improvement actions provide greater visibility onto filling up all these gaps and also take actions to raise the overall security posture for the organization. I will request Craig to take us through the demo to see this in action.
Thank you, VJ. I appreciate that. It's pretty exciting to see that you guys have made that partnership over there at Microsoft, and it's gotten that recognition with that award. That's pretty stellar. So I'm gonna start us off right here at the homepage, which is security.microsoft.com. Now, what we're gonna do today is do a quick run through, and we're gonna do our best to show you some quick tips to navigate your way around inside of Secure Score and getting our hands on the product and really seeing from a technical side what Microsoft has to offer within here. So if everybody can see my screen, what I'm going to do is kind of right here at the home screen, we're given this battle card or a little report card. So without having done anything besides log in, we can already see our secure score. We're at 65%, which it doesn't seem very good. But at least we can quickly see over the last 90 days, we're actually trending in the right direction. It's not a huge increase, but 90 days ago, back in December, we were at 52%. This is a demo environment, so there is a lot of movement in here, or there's not a lot of movement in here, I should say. We have 660 points, 662 points achieved at a just over 1,000 points. And again, at a quick glance, we can see that the majority of them are sitting in device. And we can actually see the more, not just the majority of the percentage, but the majority of the points available. So just over around 520 odd points are available to achieve over here, or 306 are 525 are achieved and 306 are achievable. So we have tons of room for points to grow here in this device area. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to jump into a secure score. And we're greeted with this lovely dashboard once it loads. And this is our overview page. And we get that same secure score right here. And this is that battle card, that report card. And the only thing that has changed is this little tab here. This has the include, and it allows you to kind of add some stuff to this this lovely little graph and this report card. We can look at and add in plan scores. This shows us anything that we have marked as planned, any actions that we say we're going to do in the future. So it even shows us on the graph, like this is today's date, and then in the future, we plan on doing this. And if we implement everything we've planned, we will achieve a little higher score. We'll go up by about 1%, which is great. We can also add everything that we're licensed for. Now, again, this is a demo environment, so we are licensed for everything. But if you are an E3 license or you don't own Defender or you're missing something, this will show you that. You can quickly eliminate everything that you're not licensed for. So it's not docking you for any items that you're not licensed for yet. And it allows you to start exploring the options of, do we need the licensing to close our security gaps? The last piece here is the achievable score. And VJ, I'm going to ask you to help try to explain and clarify exactly what we mean by achievable score here. Because when I click on it, the first thing I notice, right, is this kind of gap here in device and that there's more achievable opportunity here. Could you help shed some light on this?
Sure. So the secure score is really, a top-level dashboard, and it's pulling all your configuration insights from all the workloads. So that achievable score is the opportunities we have. Let's say if we talk about the devices, so this is coming from the Defender for Endpoint, all the machines which are onboarded, and those configuration which is still not set in here. And that is, these are all the points which we can still achieve by taking some recommended actions, and that would be visible in the improvement actions.
Awesome. That's exactly what I was looking for, and just making sure that we're on the same page and we get that explained nicely. So next is we go into this little action review area, and this gives you a quick overview of the actions and where they sit. So we have marked in red are 11 items that we've regressed. That means, and if we highlight over it, it tells us literally right away, in the last 90 days, we've regressed 90 points. We've lost points. So that might be something you want to go and investigate. Why have we lost security points? And what actions have happened that have caused that? The next column is to be addressed. We have 83 items, 83 action items that we can go and take to improve our security posture. So a great place to start, taking actions and actually, increasing your security. And then next area is, again, marked in teal, is this plan section. So Microsoft allows us to mark any of the actions that we have for future, so that we can say, hey, we have this planned, this is part of a project plan or a release of this product here. And we can mark it and put in notes accordingly, especially for reporting purposes or compliance purposes. The next area is risk acceptance. Again, really helpful for reviewing statuses for compliancy. This we can mark just like we marked things as planned. We can mark things as we've accepted the risk. We have looked at it from a security perspective as an organization, and we've looked at it from a business perspective, and we've said we're accepting this risk because it interrupts something in the business workflow or someone's workflow, or it's not worth the cost to implement something, whether it's from a business perspective, just a general cost perspective, or we don't have the time to do so. So the next two columns, recently added and recently updated. Microsoft's nice, and they'll just kind of highlight things for you and say, hey, we've updated these things. They do this on roughly a quarterly basis. It has been just over 90 days. So we're looking back 90 days. I know that it happened in early December. So these kind of just fell off. But normally after an update or after things have been added, you'll see all the items that have been added, so you don't need to go read the bulletin. It'll all be right here. So moving on, we get over here to this lovely little comparison tool. And this kind of shows us exactly our secure score, which now we're used to, but it also shows you organizations like yours. And VJ, I'm going to call on you again to help me kind of explain exactly what they mean by organizations like yours.
Sure. So the organization is yours is actually pulling your tenant-wide information. So how many seats they have, what kind of industry this tenant belongs to, this organization belongs to, and then how it compares and aligns with the other organizations of same type, and then align it with giving us the visibility into where do we stand, with respect to our security posture. So that's
yeah.
giving.
No, I absolutely love it. I like that Microsoft stuck that in there. And I know years ago it was just based on seat size, and that didn't give you a lot to compare upon. And I know a lot of people in the security organizations, they don't really care, what other organizations are doing, but you should, and you should be able to look at yourself and say, we're not doing that bad. Kind of like that old saying of you don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun all your friends. That happens a lot in security. And if you're tighter with your security than the other organizations that are like yours, you're going to be better off, and it's going to help you sleep a little better at night. So it's nice to have that there. So moving on, one last thing I want to cover over here on this homepage is this top improvement action. So Microsoft has assessed it and evaluated and said, one of the things that people worry about most is, where do I start? And they give you this this is the place to start. This gives you the top 8 actions that you could go and take right now that are going to have the most impact on your security, that are going to have the best results as far as tightening up your security. Now, they don't take into consideration here the cost of implementation, or the effects on users, or the effects on the business. So you kind of have to digest that. However, it gives you it in a small bite-sized security perspective and saying, hey, if you don't know where to start here. And it does it it ranks it by score impact. So the 8 highest items with the highest score impact are going to be right here. I'm also going to quickly go over these tabs real quick. We have the improvement actions. This is the list of all items, not just this top 8, but all 83 items that we have that we can go take action, and the items that we've already done. So we can see all items and all actions that Microsoft has deemed related to security in some way, form, or function. Every configuration that can be done within Defender and Teams, Azure Active Directory, they're all in there, and they're all going to be listed and weighted out by score impact. And we'll go into that in just a second. We have history where we can look back and we can say, hey, this is where we were, and we are, trending in the right direction. We can see quickly, hey, we've gone up and down based on these things. Craig has marked this for being planned. And we can go in and say, hey, this is where we were in December. Now we have metrics and trends, which is kind of useful from a managerial standpoint or reporting standpoint, where we can see, similar to history, a general overview of, where our organization stands against others, how we're moving and our trends, and we're going in the right direction. We can see quickly at a glance, hey, we went back in February, we went down 76 points. Maybe we want to take a look into that and see what happened. Someone please explain to me what happened there. But most of our stuff is going to happen in this second tab here. So I'm going to jump right into improvement actions. And we're going to already be greeted with the entire list. And this is where people quickly get overwhelmed. One, they're nice enough to set everything in ranks. This rank is driven off of that score impact that we kind of talked about already. It's the highest impact to your organization's overall security posture. And they rank it nicely for you. The next is just, the action item, the name. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's going to tell you exactly what it is. And then the next area is the points achievable. Now, VJ, I'm going to ask you to help me explain this again. From an overall technical perspective, like what it means when it says 0 out of 10, and how that correlates to us moving and trending in the right direction, and how do we get that 0.99% added to our security score?
Sure, absolutely. So when we click on the required MFA, the task in here, so it opens up the flyout menu. All right, and then it actually gives us a description on what is this action for, right? The general summary in here, and it also tells us that in order to achieve like a 0.99%, we have 18 users with the administrative roles. So let's say if you go ahead and do with this 18 users, you basically achieve full points. But then it's keep on monitoring. So let's say if you have more users being added, then it's also going to come back in here. So that's how it's being presented in here.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the help explaining this one. I know too, it also helps you evaluate, how many users you actually have that have MFA, and to, maybe we have 3 of them that actually need administrative, like full admin access. And we can say, hey, let's reduce that number, give those 3 people, MFA. And now we're not impacting all these people. We're only impacting 3 people. We've still achieved the full secure score, the full security. It allows you to kind of evaluate and think about all those kind of options. So the next piece, this real quick, I'm just going to run across the top here. This is the status. This is where we can see that we've marked things as planned. We've marked things to be addressed. By default, if you haven't done it yet, it'll say to be addressed. To go in and change something to plans, we may talk about shortly. We can also mark things as we're accepting the risk on behalf of the business. We've talked about that. We can say we've done it through alternate mitigation. We've handled admin password management through some other form. We can also do it through third party, and then it'll also tell you if you completed it. This regressed tells you where you've gone back. So we can quickly see, hey, we've gone backwards and we've lost points on, certain items. We also have this licensing. Now in here again, Bernie discussed it. We have licensing for everything, but if you don't, it'll still show you the actions that you can go and take. It will tell you that you don't have licensing for it. One of the things you can do if you don't want to see that, you go in over here into filters, and you can turn off licensing. So we can look at things we only have licensing for quickly, and then you don't have to worry about that. But it is nice to know that those items are there, and it actually is good, even if you're not using Microsoft, to go through and evaluate them. So you do have that, sense of security, and you've gone through that thought process for those items. The categories is we've talked about this many times in the last 3 or so webinars, but this is all always broken out into 3 categories: identity, device, and apps. We already talked about most of it being under device, but just like filtering for licensing and all of these top categories, we can quickly go in and filter these as such. Same thing with products. If we are only administering Azure Active Directory and that's all we care about, we can filter by that and look at only Azure Active Directory items. Gives us a quick glance at like, hey, these are all the items that we control and we can contain and we can actually worry about. So it's a much smaller list. The product list is rather large. You have all the Defenders, Exchange Online, Microsoft Teams, Defender for Cloud Apps, and Azure Active Directory. The last piece here is just whether or not Microsoft has updated it. If you put in any notes in the last time it's synced. It syncs by default every 24 hours. If you don't see that, you may have to contact a Microsoft admin on their behalf. So I think that is everything I have to show you as an overall view.
So,
VJ, yeah.
Craig, I wanted to ask you just a quick question. We've spoken previously about Zero Trust and the direction that Microsoft is going towards that Zero Trust framework. One of the top items that you have here is require MFA for administrative roles. Is that something you can dig into? Say we wanted to take action on that and started moving or implementing that Zero Trust framework. Can you show the audience how you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a perfect segue. And you gave me a nice softball here. And so I'll use VJ to help me. That's exactly where I was headed, which was going into turning on or taking an actual action. So we've identified, we got this top action. We want to get in here and turn this on. How would we go about doing that? And can we do that from this single planed class? VJ, can you give me a hand? I'll drive if you want to help walk us through this.
Sure, yeah. So let's just click on that first action item there, and it's going to open up with this menu. And then you do have an option there for the implementation. So once you click on that, it gives you some more details on, first of all, prerequisites. So meeting the licenses or not in order to do or achieve this. But also it gives you like a line by line item, like a task by task. Like these are the things we need to do with the require users to register for Azure AD multi-factor authentication. Now this all happens on a different portal. So you do have an option to click on manage in Microsoft Azure. It's going to open up a new tab, and then we go through with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actions, and then build on this, and it's going to monitor it again, and then it is going to reflect on your score impact.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm not going to click on this because I'm not going to bring us into Azure Active Directory and slow this all down, but being able to like quickly jump in here. So VJ, if we wanted to, let's say like turn this into, we've accepted or we've done this through a third party, or we're planning on doing it through a third party, where can we go to quickly do that?
Sure. Well, we have an option to click on edit status and action plan, and that gives us different categories, like all the way on top.
Yep.
And that opens up other categories in here. So based on our, if it's planned or it's accepted or resolved through the third party, based on that, we are going to select and provide a note in here. So that's accessible for in future, that why did we accept this, and gives us some more description in here. Right.
Okay.
And then ultimately it is going to result in the score movement.
So I see it's not updated yet. I'm assuming you just have to refresh this guy.
That's correct.
Refresh it. And he's gone. Where'd he go? Search for him real quick. So it looks like it marked the status as third party, and we've achieved that 10 out of 10. And hopefully, if I'm correct, we've gone up about 1%, just under 1%. So we're at least trending in the correct direction. So that's awesome. I appreciate the help bringing that together. Mark, do you have any questions for us, or even John, do you have any more questions for us that we can go and demonstrate or talk about?
I think actually we're moving to to participant or audience
Yes,
questions.
does anyone in the audience have any questions?
Yeah, we're just give me 1 second as we kind of open up the deck again. We're going to cover some do a quick Q&A. So with that said, let's go ahead and have several questions I like that we like to discuss. And one of them is SecureScore really an efficient tool for auditing my security all in a sense? VJ, can you take that?
Sure. Sure. So I would say, as far as you have all the Microsoft security workloads enabled, and if it's pulling based on that, it's pulling all the data from all those workloads, then it is really effective because it gives you the visibility, and that visibility can lead you to perform your investigations and ultimately manage and monitor. Thanks.
Excellent, VJ. Question number 2, what kind of risk reduction to my business can I expect viewing SecureScore? Craig?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see a lot. Hopefully we demonstrated a little bit. But from an overall business perspective, Microsoft has done a really good job at least getting you in that mindset and teaching you to like go through these steps, even if you're not using Microsoft to answer these questions or to evaluate or handle these action items. So yeah, you can definitely expect some risk reduction there.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the risk within that is giving you that view, that kind of one panel, I guess, view panel of your environment to understand where you have potential opportunities within your security posture to make adjustments, as we just shown with MFA, among many. What we talked about today is just a very, the scratch of what SecureScore and what you could look at, right? I mean, we can go much more in depth, and but we just wanted to cover as part 1 and part 2. We talked about different of what SecureScore is. Now you have it. What do you do with it? And then in this series, part 3, we really wanted to give the audience what actually is this product we've been talking about and how to utilize it. Now, with that said, the next question, number 3, we were talking about is, Microsoft has gotten done leaps and bounds, I feel like, from security standpoint. Like, I've been doing this for about 30 years now, and I came really from a Unix and mainframe era, and they were very secure, very process oriented things to get things into the environment. With that said, Microsoft, when it came out, and it had a lot of bugs in a lot of sense, and it was easy to unfortunately, at the time, it was, it wasn't the most secured OS in the world. And, over time, they made a lot of enhancements to it. And that's where I think, John, you've been around quite a long time like me. So the question we have is, the question really is, I'm going to kind of ad-lib it a little bit on that part in the sense of I redefine the question a little bit. But how do you feel from security standpoint with Microsoft and how they have advanced themselves into the 21st century?
As you said, I've probably been around for a while, and to your point, Microsoft has never had, I would say, a strong reputation in terms of security. That being said, what I've seen over the past years, and again, we've discussed zero trust, seems to be the kind of the buzzword here, but I've seen Microsoft make I would say excellent strides, especially when you look at where they came from. Just the idea of combining their security products, providing through SecureScore and the like, providing an easy way to manage, to monitor what your overall security posture is. And I think they've done a great job at putting that in front of people, even if it's just maybe IT admins or your AD admin, putting that security in front of the end user. Now, that being said, I have been in security a long time, and there's no substitute, and this is something we've talked about, in the past. There's just no substitute for properly architecting your security infrastructure, properly architecting your whole security posture within an organization, and going through and designing it from the ground up and implementing it from the ground up, so it's not an afterthought. I think that's the key thing, the key takeaway. Now, Microsoft, through their Secure Score, they do a good job at, hey, reminding you of these things. But all these things should be part of any proper security framework, whether it's NIST, HIPAA, whatever you want to do. All of these things are pretty much ubiquitous throughout any framework. These are the basics. These are the things that you have to do. I would say the other thing to keep in mind is, no single person, whether it's an admin or even a security professional, knows everything about security. Security spans the whole organization, everything from HR all the way out to, an endpoint device that measures temperature or whatever the case may be. So it's important to remember that not everybody knows everything. Security is a huge undertaking, and, bring in a professional if you need to.
No, exactly. We do have another question from the audience, and it's, is there a setting somewhere that you specifically specify your industry for the comparison section? BJ, do you mind taking that?
Sure, yeah. So just a couple of months back, we did have this option on the Secure Score blade in here, which was managed comparison, but now it is already getting done automatically. So it's already pulling your tenant data and then reflecting in here which industry you belong to, how many seats, and then it compares with the other organizations and aligns it well and give you the visibility there.
Okay, thank you, VJ. So we have another question, number 4, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but it says, do I need a help from a trusted advisor? Or to me, the question is, why would I need a help from a trusted advisor if this is a free software and so easy to use? Craig?
Yeah, I can handle that. So why do we want a trusted advisor? I think John was just talking about that.
I think so.
And he hit it pretty close on the head, the nail on the head there. There's a lot of pieces involved in security. It touches everything. It's a huge domain. It's one of the only ones that goes literally from HR to the guys in the field, and everything in between, to every device in the organization, and it reaches out and touches everything. So being able to have all that knowledge, it's that no one has it, and there's no silver bullet for it all. And I've used this analogy before, but I'll use it again. It's kind of like climbing Mount Everest. It's security is a journey. It's not a destination. Microsoft does a good job here with Secure Score of giving you kind of a map. So if you're climbing Mount Everest, you got a little map. Could you make it to the top without an advisor, without a Sherpa? Probably. You might. You may have the expertise, but some of the expertise that is out there, and some of the expertise that we have in house help you identify those gaps and really help you alleviate some of the resource constraints that you might have in your organization. We get things done a little quicker because we have the experience. We've done it so many times, and it helps with that getting overwhelmed feeling, because we know our way. We've gone through it so many times. Again, we're drawing from experience of doing it a lot. We do it on a regular basis. So we can absolutely help, and really any security expert, it would be silly not to do it.
We've also seen a lot of ways not to do it. And been on engagements on lots of ways not to do things, and help them turn things around. So.
Well, it's just like any tool. If you use it enough, you learn the pitfalls of the tool, or what are the things, that those gotcha moments in a sense, right? I mean, tools are great, automation's great. I'm a real big believer in emerging technologies and things of that nature, but experience always helps in these situations. And as you mentioned, security is always a never-ending engagement, like Craig said, right? It's a I like to say it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? In a lot of senses, but as everybody knows, we're constantly sprinting the whole marathon in a lot of ways, right? But we're doing it in chunks. All right. With that said, we're gonna move on and wrap this up. And some of the things I really want to talk about is this last. This has been a 3-part series, and part of this 3-part series, we talked about many different things. We talked about, the first one was really 101 of Secure Score. What even is Secure Score? I'll be honest, there's a lot of people out there don't even know Secure Score exists and where it exists, right? And that's what we really covered on the session 1. Session 2, we really covered things like, okay, great, I have Secure Score. I see it. I got a number. What does this really mean? What do I do with Secure Score, right? So we had a session and we talked about all the different things that a Secure Score and the surrounding products that Microsoft has to help you take Secure Score, which tells you what's going on. It can build you a roadmap to fix certain things, right? And we talked about that in Series 1, Series 2. But then today we really want to showcase how do you really do it? Do you know what the tool? Have you seen the tool, right? And that's what today was about. So that's we try to bring it full circle and from a learning outcome from the beginning to knowing what it is, how it is, and what to do with it, what to do with the score, and now how to actually use it and implement it within your environment. With that said, we're going to this concludes our 3-part series on your journey to Secure Score for Microsoft 365 and Advisor. All sessions are available on demand by going to the SystemSoft website. If you missed any part or would like to go back and revisit the Ask an Expert series. Those are the 3 I was talking about. For those joining us on the call, SystemSoft would like to offer qualifying organizations up to a 4-hour complimentary consulting session. Please scan the QR code or click on the link in the comments section to get started. This offer is valid until Monday, March 21st. What I would like to say is when you do, just to give a little background, if you are interested, you call up. We'll get you qualified through the conversation, and then we will set up a 4-hour based off your availability. We'll come in and just kind of understand what your expectations are, go over your Secure Score with you, potentially help you kind of map out some things. I mean, to me, I feel like it's a great offer for somebody that's never used it or wants to learn more about Secure Score. And we really look forward to having some of our audience reaching out. With that said, I really want to thank VJ from BlueVoyant, our special guest for this webinar. Also, Craig and John, which are part of my team. If you don't realize that, they are part of my team.
Thank you very much, Mark.
And it's been a great 3-part series. Usually we do them in one shot, just one session, but I like doing this over three different parts. I thought it was really engaging. So with that said, I want to thank the audience for joining us too. And until next time,
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Craig. Happy St. Patty's to everybody. Hope you're wearing your green so you don't get pinched or something. So
I'll be changing.
Get us started.
alrighty.
All right. Thank you for having